What's up, everybody? Welcome to the return of Face the Facts. Hopefully, no audio problems like the disaster of that last episode. But then again, it's a pretty inconsistent show to begin with, so you can't expect too much. But today, as I stated on Friday on Mike and the Minifans, today we get a chance to see everybody's, I guess, burning questions about everything I'm doing. Friday with Mike and the Minifans, I tortured everyone with a 15-minute monologue about the history with myself and Chaps. But now this is just, there's a lot of speculation still, and a lot of people like to comment still. So this is everyone's chance. As I stated before, and I still probably hold this to be true, there's probably not going to be a lot of people commenting, asking questions. They're just going to continue to subtweet about them and hide behind their accounts. But after this, I can't say I didn't try. And now we kind of like get in. You want to talk about these situations, like how it's crazy. You got people who are making up rules and then they're breaking their own rules. People trying to control content on a channel that doesn't need it. I mean, it's a network of people who just talk about a show we all like, but everyone seems to take it a lot more seriously than I guess I originally had anticipated. So I will give people that. I did not think it was ever going to get that serious, but fucking here we are. On Friday, was it Friday? I want to say it was Friday. Yeah, because it was the call-in show. So on Friday, Kirk had laid out, if this guy still loves Chaps, he's got to go. Then I made it very clear that Friday night that wasn't the case. Do not get along with the guy, do not like the guy, but whatever. But now we got people in the background, not necessarily posting on the timeline for everyone to see, but people like Rob, as other people know as Sneaks. But Rob, he likes to add me to his group chats with all of his buddies, and he likes to talk a lot of talk, and then do absolutely nothing about that talk. He's an adult, not a man. He's an adult, so but he does a lot of very interesting things. As we saw a couple weeks ago with Drew the Troll. We all found out after Drew the Troll was on Mike and the Minifans, and then added to the Trolls chat. People found out that Drew the Troll was targeting Rob's kids and posting photos of Rob's kids. And there was a consensus in that chat because unfortunately I was added to it at the time for like the 8th time after I've tried to leave. But there was a consensus in that group that everyone seemed to agree upon that kids are a no-go. Kids are off limits. We don't talk about kids. We don't bring up people's kids. We don't post photos of people's kids, blah, blah, blah. But as time goes by, doing something like exposing and talking about people's kids was enough for Rob to completely dox Drew the Troll, kind of make him quit Twitter. And in my opinion, rightfully so. Drew was a piece of shit. He showed himself to be quite the piece of shit. And he deserved everything that came to him for going after young kids. And then Kirk on the show that week, he doubled down on that sentiment. Let's keep kids out of it. Let's do this. Let's not bring all this stuff in it. But then we get to the turning of the tides where now Rob, even though he says kids are off limits, he loves to talk about my kids all the time. He loves to consistently talk about my kids and my family and all these things too. And not just him too. You got to give him, a little bit of leeway. I actually wrote it down too because last night there was a Robbie V Spaces. For all of you who don't know, Robbie V of the Robbie V Show likes to hold spaces on the weekends so everybody can usually talk about college football games, Sunday slates and bets, and then we get to just kind of sit there and talk shit, and then we get to talk about other things. But last night in the spaces, the previously mentioned off limit topic of other people's kids, there was actually a decent group of people who also wanted to talk about my kids. The same people who in the aforementioned troll chat said that kids were off limits and we shouldn't bring them into it. But you had people like Brandon, you had people like Danny Sneaks, Don the Jeweler, memes, and even Robbie V himself, who liked to talk about who I am as a father and talk about my kids and how everything should work out. So is that am I just calling a spade here? Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm just saying, hey, if we're gonna say one thing and do another, that's gonna definitely pose some interesting questions. But you know, whatever. I mean, at the same time, I'll be my own man. They can be their own. But back to Rob, other things like because people don't realize, I guess, being new to the world, you get into it, and everyone says to me, like I've heard this from multiple people, whether it's through DMs and texts and things like that. Um, People have said, Rob, he's a troll. Give him a chance. Rob isn't that bad. He's actually a pretty good guy. Uh, he's cool, whatever. But then so I'm like, I don't know if that adds up because I look at the history, um, where Rob, this adult, yet again, I say not man, um, if you go through his history, he entices a convicted rapist to go after Kirk, acted surprised when this convicted rapist threatened to rape Kirk's kids and said that wasn't the intention. I will say this, Rob, this is a good piece of advice. When you entice a convicted rapist to go after someone, they are more than likely going to threaten the crime that they previously committed because they are somehow big reach, but somehow more retarded than you. So maybe in the future, I don't know, refrain from that as far as other people that you decide to send after others. Um, as I already said kids are off limits, but has no problem talking with him or his buddies talking about mine. Um, Constantly stabbing people in the back who align with him. I mean, that is just like you see it on Twitter. Everyone already knows it. Everyone sees it on Twitter. Everyone sees it in the chats. Um, it is what it is. Pretends avid hate for the show for Kirk isn't still waving his arms, but he is so avid about his hate that he's constantly posting to get attention from those people. Very interesting. Makes assumptions consistently over asking questions. But that one's not really a big one because that's like the fucking internet. Who isn't going to do that? Plenty of people are going to make assumptions without asking questions, but that's just kind of like that's to be expected. So that one's not really a big deal to me. And then also finally to just wrap up specifically, Rob tries to physically intimidate. He talks shit all the time, hurls insults all the time, and then when you start giving it back to him, and telling him, that he also isn't shit and he also isn't as important as he thinks he is, and start joking with him because he says, "Oh, this is gonna happen to you, that's gonna happen to you," and then you start saying, "Oh, this is gonna happen to you." He tries to intimidate you. One of the messages that he had sent because I'd made a comment that I thought was fucking hilarious, um, for my own personal entertainment, and actually a lot of other people that I talked to also found it very funny. Rob had said something like "homo retarded," his usual lines, and then I said, "I'm going to make you a stain on the sidewalk, you old bitch," or something like that. And I thought that was hilarious just because it's funny, completely out of the world crazy, but it was funny. And then he messages in the chats. I think this was like around the 10th time he had added me back to the chat, even though I had left. He said, "Fax, if you keep threatening me, I'm going to beat the shit out of you." And then to him, I responded, "It's open season, old man. Come get it if you want it." And we go back and forth as we do basically every time we argue with each other. But then he completely disregards the situation, moves on, claims irrelevancy um, as his excuse for being called out, essentially, and then goes back to continue hiding, talking about other things and bragging about irrelevant things in order to deflect that there's someone who doesn't give a fuck if he has some shit to say and is basically ready at any moment. But yeah, that's who Rob is for you. I do have another point about the other people who do like to make comments. Excuse me. None of these guys who do make these comments have any interest in saying these comments 1v1. And I don't mean like some shit like, "Oh, come say it to my face." No, it's not that deep. I'm just saying like nobody wants to DM me and ask me about any questions that they might have or say any of the things that they're a lot more comfortable saying in a group setting, whether it be a group chat, on a Twitter timeline, or in a YouTube comment. They have that energy when they're in a group chat, but then when it comes to messaging me one on one or anything like that, there's nothing there. No DMs from them. And I mean, I'll make the statement now. Feel free if you do have something to say. Go ahead and say it. We can talk about it. It's fine. It's like that's like what this whole thing is for anyway. But yeah, that's a summarization of Rob and who he is as a person. I mean, I'm surprised that everyone is just kind of like trying to tell me that he's a good guy because we have all of this stuff right here that clearly says he's a piece of shit. But that's whatever. That's what people like to do. Um, and to be clear too, with these comments and Twitter stuff, obviously some dudes are just ribbing. You know what I mean? They're just talking shit to have fun. Like if you see on the timeline right now, there's people like the I State the Obvious Twitter account. He had made like a post. I knew he was joking from the get go. Like I knew that he likes to have fun and rib. Like he's done it to me before, and also he's offered some like actually valid criticism of like how I approach any show or like the moves that I'm making through the internship. Like I Say the Obvious has actually said some pretty good things and some very valid criticisms and valid questions, and we've kind of we talked it out, and he came to an understanding of like, all right, yeah, I mean, got what I needed. Same deal with like Roscoe. Roscoe's in like every Mike in the Minifans. He talks shit. He has fun with it. Hasha Curtis has fun with it. They say fun things like, "Oh, fucking fact sucks." He does this, but that's like the point. It's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to have dudes who are ribbing you. That's like the whole deal. Because those two are good guys. I can say that for myself. I met Roscoe. I know HTC, like good people. And then you got like Freddie Lynn, who has a great show that he started. And like I said on Friday, and I'll say it again today, he is like the librarian. Like I give him shit for that. I talk shit and say, "Oh, Freddie Lynn's the librarian of KMS. He has all of this knowledge." Um, but like good guy. Like seriously, at the end of the day, like he's the one who introduced me to the world as far as like new episodes to listen to. He actually is the one, like I said Friday, who told me about the Chap situation specifically involving Kirk. So I learned about more about why Chaps was a piece of shit, other than my own personal reasons. So that was good. And then, even people from the chats that I hate being in, as I'm added to this trolls chat and other chats, excuse me, there's tons of dudes in those chats who I actually have no problem with whatsoever at all. Good people. But the main thing to bring up is that people, try to tell me all the time that Rob is not a piece of shit, but he has proven time and time again, day after day, no matter who he talks to, this is not just me included, that he is actually a piece of shit. And as far as him doing anything or saying anything, the 100% facts guarantee I can give you right now is that nothing will happen. Nothing is going to happen. He will not do anything He's just gonna continue to hide, continue to make his comments, and then do nothing about it. That's just how it goes. So, I mean, that's really that. I think it's weird that people support him. I think it's weird that people are friendly with him, but at the end of the day, like, there's not really much you can do about it. It's the internet. And I do want to talk about this one comment from Bren. So if you're getting these comments and you're getting upset, maybe take a step back. LOL. Being disinvolved in a show is insane. That's actually like a valid point, Bren. I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I just think I just wanted to essentially address because I usually kind of don't address it as it comes. I've been pretty like, whatever. I just wanted to like talk about it for like one episode and then put it to rest for the rest of the time. It was just so kind of like people who have been saying things and have questions and are saying, "Hey, what's this and this?" Now they kind of get to know like this is how it all is. This is how it all lays out. That's how I feel about that scenario. I mean, but at the end of the day, like once we click end stream, I go to bed, day continues, get right back to it, like nothing. But I feel like sometimes it's important to address these things. Important to talk about how people are definitely not who other people say they are, and it's crazy that you guys support somebody like that. And this is not every Minute fan. This is not probably even 5% of the Minute fans. It was just more of the ones who are um, highly interactive on Twitter and have things to say. You know, the 10 people who are so desperate to know everything about me. This is your chance to ask the questions that you want to know. You know, you want to know the answers to. You talk about them all the time online, so I gave you this chance to come on here, ask those questions. I'll answer them because I don't have anything to hide. So here's your chance to get everything you want. And as I said on Friday, as I said at the beginning of this episode, more than likely that will not happen. And then by the time we get to like probably I want to say 8:30, we're gonna realize that those questions aren't coming. Um, this is stupid. People are gonna continue to lie, and then we all move on with our lives. Seems pretty like straightforward. But yeah, it's weird. I was gonna say, as far as like the Mike and the Minifans thing, to clear that up because it did kind of get glossed over. Um, Mike and the Minifans, like I will be not be hosting it. I might be able to host it sometimes, but I'm not going to be the permanent host anymore in the new year, and that is because as I'm doing this internship on Fridays when I do get time, I do want to. I plan on traveling back for the weekends and seeing my wife and kids, visiting the fam. So Friday nights would be a travel day for me, so I can't just do the show. And also, I think it's good for somebody else to get a chance, no matter what. But yeah, that's really the reason why I can't do Mike and the Minifans anymore. Not because I don't want to. I mean, there are some weeks where I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be a good one, but like overall, I do enjoy doing it, and hopefully, you still get to do. I do want to do more shows on the network, or like make this more consistent show, just not this shit that we started with, more of just like actual regular shit. So hopefully, you can still do that, so I can still contribute to the network because the network is for um I don't know, fun content, and I kind of want to help create that. And also, hopefully, like if I'm lucky, during the internship, Justin or Dave, whomever of those two is in charge of me will kind of allow me to help out with network stuff too, because like I said, the internship is for experience of learning how to produce and learning how like to control, Kirk show, and then you have the network, and then I'll be able to work on live production for a live show. That will be a really good experience to do. Um, but hopefully I can do more stuff with the network to help everyone in the miniverse out too. We can kind of like create more cool content or more consistent shows, less kind of conflict within the two, you know? So hopefully I'll get to do some stuff with the network. And I have a couple of ideas that I will bring up and, if they happen, like people would obviously see them happen, but if not, then I would just talk about it after the time had passed. Like, hey, this is what I had wanted to do. This is how it had worked out. Or, hey, I brought up this idea, but Kirk or Dave or Justin said, that idea fucking sucks. And then it got shut down. And then I was like, oh, okay. But I have some ideas I've written down because I do want to do like fun things. It's like a internship. It's free. It's 4 months long. It's not that long. So just get a little bit of a experience in kind of like the media world. I think it'd be something cool. I did see one question though, so I guess go back. Okay, here it is. Hashtag Curtis asks, if Chaps reached out to you and offered you a job at Barstool, what would you say? Hashtag Curtis, if it was Chaps himself, say he like sends me a text and he says, "Hey man, um, I'm sorry about everything that happened. Blah blah blah. I want you to come work for me full time. Pick up the fam, move to Chicago, come work for me on Zero Blog 30. Full time, full pay, all that." Um, if it was specifically Chaps, I would say absolutely not, because the whole point of why I said I don't like Chaps is because who he is as a person. It's not just because of how it ended. For me, the way I see him, he's a person who likes to punch down. He likes to punch down at people who he thinks he can dangle things over. And that type of personality is no one I'm fucking interested in working with. And if it happens once, it's going to happen again. So there it is. Montante says he's off the football. Good luck, facts. Will do, Nurse Kim. Oh yes, Montante, he had a bet too because I think he had Seahawks plus 135. I love that bet. They're undefeated since they've come out of the bye. Their defense is firing on all cylinders. Um, Gino is looking like it's that part of the year where Gino actually starts playing good. So Seahawks is a great look. Recommend. Let's see. Mike Raps says interesting that none of the trolls actually fronted tonight. Yeah, that's what this was for. They had a lot to say, so I was gonna let them ask their questions, allow me to clarify any things they needed clarification on. Um, and yeah, they didn't show up. But I promise you, I'm gonna tell you something, Mike Raps. They will be, or some of them, probably specifically Rob, will be messaging me after this, or probably during this, and I'm just not looking at my phone right now. And they will have a lot to say afterwards. But um, when it comes time for me to be here and answer the questions and say, "Hey, what's up, dude? What you got? Like, let's talk about it." Um, it didn't. It didn't happen. It won't happen. Like that's just kind of like the reality, and that's really like the whole reason I'm doing the episode. I'm making the point. I'm trying to show here's no shit proof that when push comes to shove, none of this shit matters. No one's gonna come up to you and actually try to confront you about it. They're just gonna talk online about it. So it's like here we are. Andrew Luck cosplay. Great point, Jake. Jake, I do actually something to say about that. Is I was thinking about it earlier this week. As you can guys see, I'm wearing my Colts hat. I'm a Colts fan, and they just got fucking mollywopped by the Broncos because of their shit play. And I realized earlier this week, um, I will never appreciate a quarterback again, probably because of how good Andrew Luck was. For all of you who don't know, the only other notable Colt during the entire time of Andrew Luck's tenure with the Colts that people who aren't Colts fans would know was probably T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton was the only person of note. Other than that, Andrew Luck had nobody. He had no O-line. He had no receivers. He had no tight ends. He had no defense. Yet he took them to 11-5, 10-6, took them to the playoffs, took them to the AFC Championship one year. Generational talent. It won't happen again. I'll probably never be satisfied with another quarterback. I believe in AR and I hope he does well, but I'm just going to be wishing that he was Luck the whole time. So sad, sad. Luck was great. Reggie was there, yes. Wide receivers coach was there, and he's done a. Oh, Reggie was there. You mean with during Luck? Yeah, he was there for the first few years. I mean, kind of like when it came down to the other role players during the time. Um, like Reggie, he was on the older side. He had done past his prime with Marvin. When it was Reggie, Marvin, and Peyton, whole different story, right? And Reggie, he did really, really well. Andrew Luck's rookie year. I don't know if you remember his game against the Packers, but he had one of the greatest catches I've ever seen. Reggie was great, but in those next few years, he had limited snaps. Oh, Freddie Lynch says shots fired. Adam Vinatieri. Yeah, it definitely. I'm not gonna lie, Freddie. Adam Vinatieri, his last year when he was just missing field goals, it hurt my feelings a lot. But he is a legend, and I'm glad that you at least would know that he did contribute a lot to special teams. But the basic fan, they're not going to remember people like Adam Vinatieri. Marvin was killer though. Marvin's the best receiver of all time. My favorite receiver of all time, obviously, yes, I know Jerry Rice. Even people like Chris Carter. Other notable receivers, Stephen Largent. But Marvin Harrison is my favorite of all time. He is the best. I love Marvin, the businessman. Those green uniforms should be fucking illegal. I'm assuming you're talking about the Seahawks game, Big Red. Are they wearing that? Let's see. Because I gotta check. Are they wearing like their fucking those neon green ugly ass uniforms? Because if they are, I agree. I haven't been tuning into the game yet. Oh yeah, Big Red, you're right. Oof. Oh my god, that was yeah. No, I hate those. Ever since they came out, I think it was like what 2011 or 2012, because it was right around when Andrew Luck had come out and like Russ had come up for the Seahawks. It was like I think it was 2010 or 2011 when the neon came out and all that new design of the Seahawks uniforms. I agree. I was never a fan. It's fucking loud. It looks disgusting. Whatever. Oh, Harrison Curtis says some would say that Dallas Clark was the best Colts tight end ever. Um, he is the second best because you're forgetting about John Mackey, but that's like, man, I'm way too young to know like the full history of the Colts, but I remember John Mackey was huge. I think it was the 80s, but I could be wrong. I will say I could be wrong. But I know John Mackey was like a fucking monster. But Dallas Clark, yeah, he's my favorite tight end of all time for the Colts. The dude would make fucking crazy catches with his bare hands. Homie didn't wear gloves. Reggie couldn't learn the New England playbook. Yeah, when he got with Belichick, it was pretty clear that like you could see that Reggie had taken everything that he had learned as a receiver and all the guidance. It was just like it all came from Peyton. It was because him and Peyton connected so well. And then when he went to the next team, like he couldn't do it anymore. Like, but he did a great job on the Colts. It was a legend, but yeah, you could see within the first game or two with Reggie with New England that he could not keep up with um Bill's playbook and like kind of like get used to Tom Brady's scheme. Because Bill and Tom Brady, like as much as I hate the Patriots, that's the best. That's undisputably the best coach QB duo. That's just not. Uh, yeah. Who did Marvin Harrison shoot? Okay. I don't know. I think it was alleged. I don't think he like personally did the shooting. I think it was alleged that he put out a hit on somebody. And I think it was like a club owner or like a dude who went to the club that he owned and like caused a ruckus at the club that he owned. And then he put a hit on him and got the dude shot like near the car wash that he also owned. Cuz I think he lives up in Philly too. Oh yeah, that's why Jake here is saying Philly, yeah. Okay, there you go. Nurse Kim helps me out here. 63 to 71 Colts. Mackey. So yeah. But Mackey, yeah, he was a legend. Like I said, way before my time, so I knew I wasn't going to get the timeline close, but yeah, 63 through 71. Thank you, Nurse Kim. I did see a couple questions too. Let's see. Mike Raps, he says, John ceded control of the networks to Menners on Friday. Thoughts? Um, I think everybody knows, and we all kind of know that this whole thing was always between John and John and Menners only. Like for me, like I'm gonna be loyal to John the whole time. I'll never be loyal to fucking Menners. He's a snake. But no matter what, I'm just gonna go with what John has for me. He's the one who introduced me to this network world. So I kind of owe it to him because he let me come on his show. BA invited me on to Mike and the Minifans as well, and then BA asked me to host it. So those two, it's like those guys, gotta be loyal to the ones who gave it to you. Oh yeah, Big Red makes a great point with the throwbacks. Throwbacks with Steve Largent, yeah, Steve Largent years, old Seahawks uniforms, easily the best Seahawks uniforms without a doubt. These new ones are just so tough, like, but those old ones, especially even like the you know how like they do like the throwback, but it's like slightly revamped. Like with the Kelly Green or like the Jets throwbacks, or even like you're saying with the Seahawks uniforms, those are still clean as hell. I did see another one. Oh, okay. I'll just take Curtis with another question. He says, if it came down to a job at Barstool with Chaps or the other job you have lined up, what would you say? Easy answer. I would do the other job I have lined up, and people have been commenting on that as well. So the other job, where I was going to do the internship originally for the Army, was with a company that I co-own with my buddy, a renovations company. Really good stuff, really good hands-on work, and I was going to do it, but it didn't go through because the employee amount has to be a certain minimum in order for the Army to accept the individual internship. And we're not like a big company at all. It's like it's weird to even say like a company because there's, I think, like, I mean, we're like less than 10. It's just a group of like one team of dudes, and it's around Tennessee doing renovations. And if the internship for me, like even with this, doesn't turn into any sort of permanent position, that's where I'm going to go. I'm just going to go back to my company with my buddy, doing renovations and having a good time. I really like doing that stuff as well. So hopefully, with him, I could build it. And even if it was a permanent position from the internship, I would still be investing in that company because that work is good. It helps a lot of other people. It's satisfying to do. It's kind of like personally gratifying. So it's kind of like, and then as you go along, you can make really good money doing renovations because you can start flipping stuff. You can start building your own communities. You can rent out Airbnbs. There's like countless options. So you can really do whatever you want with a company like that. So I would definitely choose the other job I have lined up because I love my buddy I work with. I don't want to be in a place where I think it would suck. And if I was working specifically with Chaps with Barstool, that would suck ass. He, like, dude's nothing. Let's see. How can you intern at a company you own? Very good question, Freddie. I did explain this. So I started the company with my buddy. I want to say it's 2024. So 2021. So 3 years ago, he started kind of doing this handyman work, and I jumped on it with him and would help him with some things. And then I left for the military to become fully active, I think 4 or 5 months later. So when I left, he decided to move up to Tennessee, and then he started the company, started building it. And then earlier this year, he and I were getting all the paperwork squared away to kind of make it our business. But then with the internship thing, like you're stating right here, there's that conflict of interest. Like, although I could be, because flat out, the guy that I work with, he knows a lot more than I do as far as like skills and stuff. I haven't been working in trades that long. Um, I haven't worked in trades that long. I know what I'm doing to a certain degree, but he knows a lot more than I do. So he was still going to be teaching me a lot of stuff, and it would give me the opportunity to reintegrate myself with the company and kind of get things going again. So when he did all the paperwork and submitted it, I wasn't gonna have him put me on as like an owner, so that way I could intern with him and go in as a worker. And then once I was done with my army contract, we'd finish up the paperwork, put my name on the LLC, and then continue on from there. But that was also another reason as to why that didn't work out, because I didn't want to run into that conflict of interest. It was too much of a hassle. And then since Dave Cullinane, he did say, "Hey, you can come work with us," since it didn't work out the other way. I decided to just take off the take that opportunity because it's a great opportunity. Let's see. Mike Rapp says, when you secure the KMS internship, will you remove the stash? I'm not saying it's Jake-esque, but other people are. I'm going to ride out the stash as long as I can. I love the stash. My wife loves the mustache. So I'm definitely going to favor the person that I'm married to and her opinion over anyone else's. She likes a mustache, so the mustache stays. Unless I go up there and they're like, shave that shit off, my army brain will automatically follow those orders and go shave it off. So, but I plan on keeping it. Let's see. Let's move on from your fake company. Good point. Justin Timberlake, former member of NSYNC. I love your album, 2020 Experience. It's the best one. Facts would make great NPR late night classic rock. That would be awesome to do, like the radio and just be like, welcome back to 88.6. Here is have you ever seen The Rain by Creedence Clearwater Revival? Enjoy. That would be fun. Sounds like fraud, but I don't know anything. Well, good point, Freddie. I will tell you though, many people do work for their family members' companies, and their friends' companies, or companies that they do. I know people higher ranked than I who took the similar path. That's where I got the idea from, because you can indeed technically work for your own company. You would just not be able to collect any profit from it. And as long as you're not collecting money from that company during that time, you are legally allowed to do it. It's just you cannot get money from that company. It's the same deal with going up to KMS. I cannot be paid by KMS legally. I cannot take a penny from them. It is all just through the army. So that way you're not double dipping. If taxes are going to pay for me to go intern somewhere, it would be like kind of ass backwards if I was also collecting another source of income while I was doing something else. So that's why it would have worked out, because I wouldn't be collecting any profit or revenue from the company. I would just be essentially working as a free labor guy. But yeah. Facts calling out Sneaks wasn't on my Sunday night bingo card. Well, it needs to happen. I mean, he's a shitty person, so I mean, I already said it's at the beginning of the episode. Don't gotta waste my time with that guy too much more. Facts hitting the post would be elite. Imagine his silky smooth, dulcet tones introducing Toto, Africa. I agree. Maybe I should look into that. Maybe that's where I'm fucking up. I'm going to allow daily internet show. I should be really like reaching out to like NPR or like local radio stations where I'm moving to, trying to do something like that. I don't know. Maybe I did fuck up. Mike Raps might be onto something. Nah, but we're already here. It's gonna be a really good time. I'm really gonna enjoy my time up there. I'm very excited to do it. I'm not ashamed to say that at all. That'd be weird if I was. I wouldn't be a good fit if I was ashamed. But I'm genuinely excited. It's gonna be a good time. I think I'm gonna learn a lot too about like the business in general, and then hopefully I can carry that out into like my own like secondary source of income later on while I do other things. Because I like having my hand in a lot of pots. It makes it for a lot more interesting. Fax wasn't alive when Play the Hits was around. Such a sad little boy. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not an old guy, 25. But I feel like I listened to enough of at least classic hits, or I might be able to like fake it till I make it for at least a week or two. But once it came to like month 2 or something like that and kinda start getting deeper, yeah, I might get exposed. Let's see. Let's see if I got any other else. Mm-mm. Oh, well, there you go. I mean, that literally exposes it right there. That's what happens when you're a fan for a year and have no clue about, like, the intricate history of, like, other KMS stuff. Yeah, alright. Well, good for Cullinan. The only thing that I knew that he had done is when he had quit with the episode with, Kirk and Dave Portnoy, and he was going into real estate before he had just come back this last time. That's the only one I had really known. Guy just skipped my kickoff tape. Oh, I didn't know you had a kickoff take. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, the new kickoff has literally ruined special teams in the NFL. They need to bring the normal kickoff rules back. Yeah, I mean, when it first started, I didn't really hate it. And now that we've kind of like had a full season, yeah, you can see that like special teams just isn't as necessary unless it's like the punt. So I actually don't mind that take. It's actually a pretty good take because if you brought back the original rules, it would just make everything easier. There was something I was reading the other day too, where they were thinking about changing another rule. I can't remember what it was, but I just remember it sounded ridiculous and it didn't make any sense. I think it was the onside kick rule. They were thinking about just like giving the offense a certain possession and yardage in order to maintain offensive possession instead of doing an onside kick. And that's stupid because all they should really do is just go back and say that you don't have to announce you're doing an onside kick anymore. Why would you announce somebody your play? The whole point of an onside kick is to surprise the team. So that's ridiculous. I agree. Facts. What time of day do you think Play the Hits started at? Oh fuck. Okay. Uh, Facts says know what the hits are. Jesus fucking Christ. Justin Timberlake says it. Good point, Justin Timberlake. On point as usual. All right, I'll play ball, Dr. Phil. I'll play ball. If I had to guess, I would guess that it was either a nighttime show or it was like a morning drive show. Those are my only two guesses. But Dr. Phil, I promise you this, I will be going and looking into play the hits after this because now I'm curious. 606 facts. Everybody knows that. Oh, okay, so there you go. 606. Justin Timberlake bailed me out. Bailed me out. And then Nurse Kim too, same deal. Facts you take in block leave. No, I will not be taking. Well, actually, I have like 7 days left over because I just used a lot of my leave because I had a lot stored up. I don't really go on leave a lot. I use like 30 days of it, and now I think I have like 7 left over. So I might use that just for like Christmas week, so I can go down and see like mine and my wife's family. Other than that, though, the internship, it's called administrative leave. And basically how that works, it's leave that they can't charge you with, but it would be like I'm still working for the army. I don't get any extra pay or anything like that. I literally just get regular pay, but they help me like get ready to leave the army. Like go do the job that you think you're going to be interested in so that way you can actually be prepared for it rather than us just throwing you to the road and saying good luck. So it's actually a good program for people who are interested in doing things and want to do other things. Um, let's see. Oh, okay, here's Sneaks. Facts lying about me talking about his kids. I've never been in a Robbie v Spaces. Rob, that's not what I'm talking about. For you specifically with the spaces, I was saying you were the one who was saying that it was okay. It was not okay, excuse me, for other people to be talking about your kids or whatever. But then you're just letting everyone else kind of go in and then say, oh, this guy is a bad father. Oh, this guy's kids, blah, 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 hate him, are going to be gone from him. You watched all that happen and then you had nothing to say to that because you only get mad at things when it affects you, even though you have told me that or other people have told me as well that you're, like, trying to essentially protect some sort of integrity, but you showed very clearly that that wasn't the case. Um, see, there you go. Like I'm saying, show everyone the screenshot of me talking about your stupid kids. You're insulting my kids right there. That's my point. So I guess I won't show any screenshots. I'll just keep that comment up. So that way you can kind of see your own dumbassery, as you will. But it's what it is. Uh Bullshit calling out of spaces chat. I agree, Sig. I mean, I'm not calling out spaces chat. I'm just saying it was out there. People were making comments about, who I was as a father, what my kids thought, blah blah blah. And I was just all I was pointing out is kind of fucking wild that we were all talking about that, with no context. But what can you do? I'm just saying that is weird, especially with those people saying that those specific topics were off limits. It was very hypocritical. What is your MOS film KMS fan activity arm here? Oh, okay, Don, sweet. Currently I'm a 35 Fox, so intelligence analyst. Previously I was a 91 Lima, which is a construction equipment repair, or to make it make sense, a diesel mechanic working on construction machines. And I was mostly in units with combat engineers and horizontal construction engineers. So 12 Bravos, 12 Novembers. I would essentially be the guy to repair their machines. And then in 2022, that's when I switched to 35 Fox. Not for any specific reason. I just essentially I was going through the second round of MEPS and I asked them. I was like, "Can I do stuff that involves like battle planning?" And they said, "Oh, 35 Fox does that." And I just was like, "Cool, sign me up." And then it was nothing like I thought. So I don't like 35 Fox very much. Not my style. I miss working with the engineers. They were good people. But yeah, that's what I am now. All right. Sneaks isn't responsible for other people's stupid memes. I do agree with that point. I'm just saying he had no uh point to call it out like he did every time somebody else has done it. But these are his buddies whose influences, and I wasn't saying that Sneaks himself needs to be controlling the crowd. I'm just saying that him and his buddies, like you, memes, who I genuinely don't really have a problem with at all. Like you've never given me a reason to not like you. You've said dumb shit, but like, what are you gonna do? But like him and all of his buddies, they're the ones who all did say, "Hey, we don't talk. That's fucked up that people talk about that. That's fucked up that people are saying that. I would never do that." And then they did it. I don't take screenshots because I don't wasn't really planning on using it against anyone because that's not how shit should really work. But since it's been happening consistently enough, I decided, you know what, fuck it, let's talk about it. My wife wouldn't let me leave to LARP. Well, Stig, it sounds like you should have a better forward planning. I don't know. Maybe she would if you guys planned it out more. We've been planning this thing for like a year. Not specifically with Barstool, but the internship program in general. We knew this was coming for over a year now. So we have talked about it at length and figured out everything. Whether I was going to go work in Tennessee, whether I was going to go work down in Florida, where we were from, or now up in Boston. We've been planning this for a long time, so we're pretty prepared. Cane shit on the space is pretty hard. Yeah, but the spaces genuinely aren't that bad of a place. It was like it's fun because you go in there and you just talk shit about football and like have a good time with each other most of the time. Like Robbie V spaces genuinely aren't bad place. Like Kane was way off on that. It's not boring. It's a fun time. I was just saying, like, specifically last night, that's when people decided to, like, make comments and, like, try to assume things without asking questions. And that's all I said was that's wild. Obviously, you can't control it, but I'm calling it out that it is wild and also who those specific people are. Okay, there we go. Hold on. Let's see. Facts came on here to do a show about me and lie. Haha, homo. No, Sneaks. Sorry. No, Rob. I kind of went over with your stuff within the first 15 minutes, and then we spent the last 35 talking about separate things. So it was not about you. It was about the public in general who holds an opinion, and I decided to acknowledge those opinions. So, yeah. Incorrect. He's defended his own children. Okay, yeah, that's fair memes. Yeah, he has defended his own children and others, but whatever. It's exactly what you said. Fax needs Daddy Sneaks to control the crowd. No, I just wanted you to hold yourself accountable as well as your friends should be holding themselves accountable. If they're gonna say something, they should be about something. That's what men do. That's what adults do. When they say something, they actually mean something. They don't stab in the back. They don't lie to your face. They don't talk shit on something they don't know nothing about. You know, I mean, you're an adult. You're not a man. You're an adult. So I gave you, that's why I said, like during this thing, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt because I know that you don't know that. It was like an educational thing. I was telling you, like, hey, for the future, this is what someone who considers themselves a man should actually do, is they should actually be about what they say rather than lying behind people's backs and then making baseless threats that they're never going to act on to other people, because you're not going to act on anything that you say. You sit there and you talk, and that's all you'll ever do, is you'll be a talker. Okay, there we go. Here's a good question. This is actually a really good question. Are you here for KMS or using KMS? Your hidden chap's past is still shady. So CFS, if you go back to last year, it was the Open Borders Network show. This is before I kind of like knew who all watched the network and how it all went. So I guess it's my fault for not knowing that like Open Borders wasn't getting these looks from multiple Minifans and they weren't going to see it all. But there's a whole episode essentially dedicated with me going over the chap situation. This was before I was the host of Mike and the Minifans. It was kind of like as I had been going through the KMS stuff and getting integrated into the universe, I had told Jackson in a DM privately. I think we were talking about it one day, and I said something to him like, "Holy shit, I didn't know Kirk hated chaps. I also hate chaps." And then I kind of laid out what happened. And then Jackson asked me to come on the show with him and Luke and talk about it, and I did. So if you go back to Open Borders episode 11, it's entitled Chap Stinks, and it's me talking about what I talked about on Friday, but like for a longer time. Da, 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 da. Oh, there we go. Okay, so then the rest of it seems to be, from what I'm saying, is Sneaks very, very insistent that I pay attention to him. And then Sig, for some reason, defending Sneaks, I guess? That's weird. He's been practicing this all week. No, Sig, but I did decide to talk about it on Friday when I announced that I would be talking about it today. So, like 3 days. So, almost a week, almost half a week. You know, can't kind of right about that. Facts, give us your thoughts on the fucking drones, Mr. Army. The drones. Very interesting. I don't know. When it comes to things like that, like weird shit that's going on, especially like me being in the army, it's kind of like you don't want to make comments on shit you don't really know, or like even if you did know, I couldn't. But I'm just saying, for me, like personally, I don't know anything about it. I'll say that obviously, right? Like the fucking E4 at Fort Eisenhower is gonna know anything about the drones, but it's definitely weird. Something to keep looking out for. I'm very curious to see where it goes and kind of how it ends up. All kids are stupid, including mine. Uh, Solid point. Solid point. Um, Sneak says he's not army. Guy's a fake service member. Well, hey buddy, when we meet up and hang out, um, I guess you can, like, look at my service record? I don't know what you really want from that. If Kirk calls Fax's kids dumb, I assume he steps down from the internship, correct? No, but I would say it's fucking weird to talk about my kids like that. Like I'm saying to you guys now, I'm saying that's ass backwards. I'm not saying I'm going to excommunicate all of you from the earth like I could make that threat anyways. I'm just saying it's a little fucked for you to say that about another person's kids. So yeah, if he did say that, I would say yeah, it's pretty fucked, Kirk, with you saying that about my kids, I guess. But maybe if we like had a different relationship, I wouldn't care. Let's see. Has anyone seen the video from Joe Rogan about the guy who's the head of a drone company and the drones are sniffing for radiation because there is missing nukes? I have not seen that, Big Red, but now I'm gonna look it up. I don't really watch Joe Rogan. I think the only episode I've seen was when he had Trump on before the election, and then when he had Theo Vaughn on like a couple days after, just because I was like walking at night and it was just on. But I haven't really watched too much of Joe Rogan, so I'll check it out. Has Peltier offered you his third leg, and third bedroom Monday through Thursday? Not yet, Dr. Phil, not yet. And I have to say, I'm kind of offended. So I don't know if I'd accept it, but I at least would like to be offered that. Hopefully it'll come up. Meet up, ha ha ha, guy stalking me. Okay, sure. Very good question. Fax will need a place to stay. He's already broke. Oh, good point. Good point. Yeah, I am not a man who's made of money or drowning in money. So Sneaks is actually completely wrong on that take. But luckily I do have a place set up, so I will have somewhere to be. So we're good to go. Would Kirk be better off independent? He pretends like he's separate from Barstool half the time anyways and shits on everyone else's content. I'm not sure because I think Jay Costa, I think Barstool helps him also provide a lot of talking points and content. Obviously he doesn't need it to talk, but in general, but also for me too, I think he really enjoys doing all the extracurricular shit. Um he likes surviving Barstool. He loves the golf content. And he does like the people he works with. Like he likes Whitney. He likes doing the show with Whitney and Dave. So for me, like if I guess I had to speak on it like I should anyway, but if I would say I think he would be better off sticking with Barstool just because it's like you got a company that's not going anywhere anytime soon. They are pretty loose in letting you what you say, other than the weird shit that happened earlier this week, which, as we already talked about on Friday, was just super fucked. But that's not really news. Everyone knows that was fucked. But overall, like Barstool's like pretty good gig for you. For him, like he seems to really enjoy it. Versus the way he talks about WEI, he seems to enjoy Barstool like infinitely more. So I don't think he really wants to be independent. I think he was ready to, like if need be, but overall, I think he wants to stay at Barstool. Kane said on Saturday that Memes was a sweetheart. This doesn't track with this persona he's created. Thoughts? Like I said already in this episode, I have no problem with Memes personally. Like Memes likes to fuck around and talk shit. Like, but I mean, he does it with everybody. And I mean, overall, if you say something that's not completely stupid in his brain, he will like, tell you like, all right, yeah, I can get behind this. Like Memes isn't a bad dude. No, he's been fine. He's never like. I mean, the only thing I don't like about him has been alignment and Sneaks, but I've already told him that. Like, it's nothing new for him. It's nothing new for me. I think he and I are on the same page of like we don't like love each other, but like yeah, he's not a bad dude. I mean, look at that right there. He said Fax is welcome to sleep in a tent in my driveway, which I can confirm he has already offered me that. And memes, if push comes to shove, I mean, I got the address. I'll be showing up. I'll be pulling up a tent. I'll be hanging out. So memes did say I also get an extension cord as well, which I will be utilizing. So yes, good guy, confirmed. He'll be eating breakfast with Roscoe and fam. Shit, maybe. If Roscoe did offer me breakfast, I wouldn't deny it. Fact thinks he's going to Barstool. That's the funniest thing out of this. Well, technically, that's what I'm doing. I mean, if I don't end up getting a position, I would just go back and life would go on. No big deal. But yeah, it'd be cool to work at Barstool. Like, you want me to say no? Oh, no? No, I think it'd be cool. Kane is a retard. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, shit. Okay, well, I already lost the extension cord, so that's done. Wow, memes and facts private DMs. No private DMs between memes and I. Not yet. And then King Sneak says, "Oh, I see now. Everyone in space is calling facts a shitty dad for leaving his kids. No one said anything about his kids." All right. I mean, hey, two sides to every story. Never know. But I heard different. But yeah, we lost an extension code. Oh, Bueller said debunked. Yeah, there you go. I guess this guy who's known for his honesty really got me. And then Menners, a perfect way to end the show. Yes, Sneaks, I would be in that case. Essentially, I think I would be calling Danny a liar. I think that's how that works. But yeah, there you go. Perfect way to end it. A guy who controls what he can't. Needs a good timeout. And then Meme says, if you were listening, I was. And he's right, I was. Why didn't you jump in and confront people saying this? Because, Memes, it is a good question. And I do get your point. But earlier when I was talking in the spaces, it was just people talking over the whole time. I didn't want like to do the whole talking over. Oh, I wasn't saying this. I was saying this. I thought it'd be easier to just let me say it right here. And then if people do have to clarify anything or want to say something different, they can just DM me. So it would be easier. I thought it'd be easier if I just did this and then they can talk with me one on one. But they said it out in a space. Now I've said it out in a space how I feel about it, and then we can just work it out. Like, if I took it out of context or if I took it too seriously, I have no problem admitting I was wrong. But I mean, I'd rather have the clarification and have the chance to say, hey, if we're saying that this isn't cool, why are we doing it? What's going on? It's opening up the question, because I do think if we're saying this isn't okay, but then we're doing this, I think it is fucked up. That's what I'm saying. So gives people the chance to hear what I have to say about it, say something back. There's like 20 people watching this. It's not that big of a deal, but that's the way that I saw it and I interpreted it, and that's what I heard. So, so facts lie again. No, I don't think so, but you're known for that. You're a lot more used to that than I am. Who knows? But yeah, we've run over an hour. I think we can call it quits now. Just thought we'd get all that off my chest. Yeah, if you do want to talk about yesterday or anything else, don't add me into your stupid fucking groups. Just talk to me one on one. So just do that instead. Way easier. I don't want to talk with you and your buddies. I'd rather talk with you, person, man. All right. There you go. And then Mike Rapp says, when you work for the show, you'll be more important than mentors. Not a question, just a fact. Well, hey, thanks, Mike Raps. I appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for joining the stream. Thank you for the couple guys that did join the stream and ask questions. I appreciate it. I don't know when I'll be back for another episode, but until then, Mike and the Minifans on Fridays. So tune in for Mike and the Minifans. We'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.